Good afternoon, this is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding, here to discuss how the statute of limitations on foreign income can be extended to 6 years from 3 years, even if it's not that much income. So why don't we kind of go through what happened with FATCA and how this all works. So in 2011, or around 2011, 603 Internal Revenue Code section 6038D was created. The idea was it was in accordance with FATCA. FATCA is the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. Individuals report on Form 8938. The idea behind FATCA is that U.S. persons who have certain what's called specified foreign financial assets and they meet the threshold for reporting are required to report the information each year on an annual Form 8938. The 8938 is part of the tax return. It's similar to another common form, which is the FBAR, but they're not mutually exclusive. You may have to file one, either or both. Okay. The difference with the main difference between FATCA and FBAR, aside from the threshold, is that for FATCA you have to have an interest in the account or asset. For FBAR, you don't need to. You could have signature authority. So generally, one of the most common questions is how far back can the IRS audit you, right? When are you in the clear? Generally, it's 3 years. IRS normally has 3 years to audit you. So you file your tax return, your 2018 tax return, you file it before, let's say, March 1st, and then 2019. The IRS still gets to the April 15th due date. 3 years after you file, that's when they can audit you. But there are some situations in which the IRS can actually get you for 6 years. The one we're going to focus on today is certain foreign income that's reportable. So essentially how it works is like this. Under Internal Revenue Code section 6501E1, it gives examples of when the IRS has actually 6 years to go after you instead of 3. And so the idea is if a taxpayer has income attributed to one of those IRC, Internal Revenue Code 6038D, which is in reference to FATCA, assets, then the statute of limitation jumps from 3 years to 6 years, even if there's not a substantial underpayment. Okay? And so the idea is if there's more than $5,000 of income being generated from one of these foreign assets that would fall under 6038D, which is very common. FATCA assets are very common. Pensions and life insurance and bank accounts and investment accounts and things like that. Well, then now the IRS automatically gets 6 years. This can be a big issue or concern for some taxpayers doing reasonable cause and streamline or delinquency, because most of the time it's 3 years of amended returns instead of 6. So what happens to those 3 prior years? That's why it's important that you strategize properly. You work with a board certified specialist to make sure you get a good lay of the land. But it's something to keep in mind. So the summary for today's presentation is just simply, if you have more than $5,000 of income being generated from foreign assets that qualify under Internal Revenue Code section 6038D, then the IRS will automatically get 6 years to audit you instead of 3. If you're out of compliance for FATCA, FBAR, all the other acronyms that fall under the international tax world, then there's plenty of amnesty programs that are available to help you safely get into compliance. There's the Voluntary Disclosure Program, VDP, which is now for domestic and offshore ever since the IRS terminated OVDP, which was for offshore back in 2018. VDP is for people who are willful or just cannot certify under penalty of perjury that they're non-willful. If someone's non-willful, there's many more options available. There's the Streamline Program, domestic and offshore, delinquency procedures and reasonable cause. We have lots of information available on our main website and our sub-websites. Our main website is goldinglawyers.com. You can always reach out and schedule a reduced fee initial consultation if you think it's appropriate. Again, my name is Sean Golding with Golding & Golding. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.